The submission of reports of the Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry on EndSars is eliciting reactions from various quarters of the United States as it asks the federal government and the Lagos State government to address the alleged abuses that led to the EndSars protests, the events that took place at the Lekki toll gates on the 20th of October 2020 and the grievances of affected families. Let me start. We saw the reports. The report was submitted, and the Lagos State government actually set up another committee, maybe to drop a white paper, to produce a white paper, but the media released like a snippet into what's was inside of that report, and that reaction since yesterday, before yesterday, it has been making headlines. So the United States now, they're now saying that we should go, the Lagos State government and the federal government must try to right the wrongs of that October 20th of October 2020. That's right.
Well, thank you. I'm even expecting Great Britain. I'm also expecting the EU to also add their voices. I think AI has already spoken. Amnesty International has already spoken. You know, I'm waiting for Britain. I'm waiting so that there will be pressure. So that I have worked in government before. When they say white paper means the recommendations or even the findings of that panel. What does government think of each of the findings? Do you agree or do you not agree? Then the suggestions, those 30-something, 32 suggestions, we will do this, we will not do this, we will do this, we will not do that. It is not for you to rewrite
the report.
Because if you have read that report, unsigned, what I saw is unsigned. I need to say that, because somebody was, I say, supposing whatever document Justice Okuwobi gave to the governor, it could have been somebody's PhD thesis, maybe BC's PhD thesis, who knows, because he didn't read it out to us. But without trying to be mischievous, what I'm trying to say is this, that what I saw was not signed. So we wait for when we see what was signed. That is that. Now, if you go through those things, you will see that there's a strong input from the youths, or if you like, the victims, or if you like, the civil society organizations in those submissions, recommendations. So, a lot of them may not be palliative. You probably have heard the reaction of the Chief of Defense Staff. So that tells you that it is not everybody that seems to be agreeing, or like, let me not say agree, but like those findings. Except when they say, you know what, maybe of massacre, that committee says there was a massacre. You know what massacre? That is serious. And then they alluded, they say, well, we can confirm that 11 people died. 4 people are missing, we don't know where they are. There are 96 people that bodies around that time. They are just trying to let you know that those 90-something people need to be accounted for. What killed them? What is the autopsy saying? What is the coroner's report saying about those people? They just don't want to jump to conclusions. That's what I think. And then the recommendations, paying compensation, prosecuting people who went and did beyond instructions given to them. And then those who are arrogant and failed and refused to appear before that panel. That panel is you are supposed to, you don't have a choice whether you will attend or to attend to them or not.
At the point that the military stopped attending.
So are we under a military government that you choose not to make yourself put yourself under the authority of civil authority? Do you understand? So are you going to be cherry picking what laws or rules or regulations that you are going to obey? And I think, though America, well, they have said something, but I thought Britain would have spoken, to Canada should have spoken. I was expecting that Germany would also speak, and then the EU.
It's our internal affairs.
Yeah, it's our internal affairs.
We should be able to manage. That thing happened in Nigeria.
Oh, really? Why do we keep shouting to them to give us Tucano aircraft? And we could, since it's internal, let's go and be using bow and arrow to deal with Boko Haram and the rest of them. You need to. Why are we in the United Nations? Why do we belong to Commonwealth? Why do we belong to AU?
States that this is still our internal affairs. It's
I agree with you.
It could be managed.
I like your.
The Lagos State government set up a kind of an independent panel of inquiry, and they sat for like a year, and the reports from what the feelers have gotten so far, a lot of people will tell you that report from what you can see that is truly independent of any interference from the Lagos State government.
I think what the US is simply telling us is that it is not enough to have a report.
Okay. Implementation.
It is the implementation, because it will go a long way. Yes, it will go a long way to soothe the nerves of people that are offended or
which the Lagos State government started anyhow.
It is good that the Lagos State government inaugurated a panel. It is also good that from what we can get from the report of the panel, that it is independent.
Completely.
We can say that, because I think even that report is, in a way, Lagos State government too is indicted in a way.
Yes.
Even in that report, you understand. And I also love what the governor said, that at least they are going to make sure that posterity will judge them well. I mean, he is not there. He is not trying to cover up anything. And that is a very good thing. But at the same time too, if we can have all of that, it could be a political gimmick. It could end as a political gimmick. Yeah. Because, and if it does, we wouldn't have gained anything. All the money spent on the panel, all the efforts, all the resources, all the time will have been useless. You see, the people that have died, they are gone. They can't come back again. But it is always good to have deterrence, so that people will know what cannot be done. Let's get people to let's get people to pay for their crimes. If people pay for their crimes, the possibility of committing that crime in future, you can curb it. And part of the problems we have, just like our laws, it's not as if we don't have law. It's not as if we don't have rule of law in Nigeria, but is it working? So that is the point that the US is making, and government is very important in that process. Government is very important, because at the end of the day, it is the government that will determine what will be implemented.
Exactly.
You know, the panel has done its job, but government will still be the ones to decide what to be implemented and how to implement it. So I think we should just do what is right, because that is the only thing that can help us.
Sorry, let me add that the responsibilities in that 32 recommendations is not just for Lagos State, including the federal government too.
Exactly.
And I think that is why the US is
the Lagos State governor, for example, doesn't have any power over the security
police.
Even the police, so he can't even do anything about them. So he can only pay compensation, for example, maybe to victims, families, and the rest. But to punish whoever instructed or whoever killed, it's not within his power.
Trying to look at the whole thing immediately after the 2022 Lekki Toll Gate incident, unfortunately. 2020, sorry. Okay, sorry. Immediately it happened, and government took some bold steps by dissolving the Special Anti-Robbery Squad.
Replacing it with
SARS. So, after the disbandment of SARS,
removing Twitter.
Now, have you seen any positive impact of that move that the normal police that we deal with?
Well, I recall that immediately after SARS was disbanded, a lot of police officers were slow, if not deliberately failing to respond to distress calls.
Okay, let's take Ibe from Port Harcourt. Thank you for joining us, Ibe.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Ibe.
I like your program. I have been a regular listener to your program every evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thank the Lagos State government for the report they have turned in. But the fact is, would they approve, or would they go to approve what the report has given? We thank God that the justice did a very good job. Everybody likes what she did, but we thank Lagos State government for being the first to turn in the report. This report was sent to all the state capital, all the states, 36 states of the Federation, but Lagos State have turned in their own. What is happening to the others? The impunity is still happening. The impunity of the police is still happening. Have they learned anything? People who have not even studied the report are now making unusual statements like the chief of defense staff. What he has not even read that report.
Thank you, Ibe. Thank you, Ibe. I think some states even did not even set up any panel.
Exactly.
Some states could not even fund the panel for sitting, and some states the panel was set up, we just went into comatose. So I think there are few states that they've submitted their own reports before now. I think Osun State. I've seen Osun State and some other states. And
most of the states are in the southwest.
In southwest.
Most of the states that support that.
Because I don't think the people in the up north, they didn't complain of the activities of the special terrorist.
I recall that Northern Governors Forum said that it was just a southern demand for removal, for disbandment of police, rather than just the SARS. I recall
because
that
I asked you before we took that call that have you seen any change in terms of they've disbanded the special anti-robbery squad. How about the conduct of the main police?
Well, I'm not completely, but let's be factual. Let's be honest that they are a bit more cautious. Okay. Yes, but you and I have seen quite a few videos online of police mistreating people,
but not as high as
the frequency.
What have you seen so far? The last 1 year.
Well, I can't say I've seen much difference, because I still because if you are young and you have children that are young, you can be sure that they still go through the same kind of harassment from the police all the time. They still ask them, they still stop them. If you have a young guy that is driving, they will still stop them. If they don't have their ID cards on them, it will be a problem. And you know there are many unemployed youths. So I don't know how many of them have landed in their nets. But I know that they still stop and they still complain even about their hairstyle, their dressing mode, still determine who to stop and all of that. So I think we need more. It's not something that we can achieve overnight. Definitely there will have been some positive impact. It may not be too general.
All right, and finally,